Alright, so good afternoon, everyone. Spin Ventures here. We are in Plant City, historic Plant City today. As you can see, I'm sitting on the park bench of Mullins Park. We got a train coming out of the station there, and we also have strawberry picking. Plant City is the strawberry capital of the world. It is known for their strawberry festival that happens in February each year. As you can see by the Ferris wheel in the background, they got the Ferris wheel and a couple of other rides displayed. Of course, Henry B. Plant was founded by Plant City was founded by Henry B. Plant, who also has a museum in Tampa on the University of Tampa campus. That one will be in the description on my channel. Be sure to subscribe to Spin Ventures right here and like this video as we travel through historic Plant City. Leave comments down below if you've been to Plant City, Florida. It is a kind of a small town, but an historical town. For me, love history, love old historic towns. So we're going to kind of walk around. We're going to go to the Railroad Museum. We're going to go check out some of the different antiques shops and diners that are open today. Not a lot is open today, but we're going to see whatever is open. We are going to check out. Also, right around the corner is the Whistle Stop Cafe. It's not open today, but it is open Tuesday through Saturday. The Whistle Stop Cafe is just like a little cafe bar. They got a soda fountain. Let's see if we can look inside here. An old type diner, which I do like. I like the old antique diners that were in the past where they had the soda fountains and you could get any type of soda, drink known to mankind. Also, don't want to sit down too much as the benches are really, really hot. But welcome to historic downtown Plant City. And of course, as I do walk around and not knowing that I actually parked very, very close to the railroad station, there are trains that come around every now and then. So we're going to actually make our way over there right now so we can see. I wonder if it's open. I don't know if it's open today or not, but we are actually going to find out and see. I didn't think it would be open today. It is Sunday. I didn't think it was open on Sundays. I know it's open Monday through Saturday for sure, because I did come on a Saturday. It's been a while since I've been here, but this museum, the Robert W. Wilford Railroad Museum, that's public. And there's parking on the other side. So we're going to walk across the bridge here. Let's see the train. The train viewing platform and tower. We're going to make our way over here. And you can actually go up into the tower and watch the trains, ones that do come by eventually. But this section of track, this looks like it's open, so interesting. So we're gonna go ahead and go take a peek inside the watchtower. This is the old railroad station. As you can see, and I'll show you guys shortly. It'll be a lot better to see it from up above. bird's eye view of the tower. Much better. They have 24-hour surveillance up here. There we go. This so this cross section right here, cross section of track, is known as a six-way switcher. Six-way switcher means you can have a three-way switcher. It's kind of like when you're in a car and kind of like a three-way stop, but what the trains do, this is you have the main line, which is going this way, and then you have two side tracks, two on the siding, going this way, and this way. So you have two of those. And then, of course, like I said, the main line is right behind the station. That's the station, well, the museum, per se. This is a museum. I bet it's open. Well, we might be able to go inside the museum, and hopefully a train will come by later today. If be here, and of course we will definitely capture that on video. But train and the Railroad Museum. So let's go down and let's go back down and take a look at the Railroad Museum. Okay, so sadly it is closed. I figured it would be. It's a Sunday. I didn't think they were open on Sundays. I was correct. But we could also talk about some of the stuff that's outside. Like this right here. This big old machine. Not really a machine, but this mechanism is a two-way track. Kind of like stoplight. Call it a stoplight. This was the operating levers where if pull on this handlebar, I wish you could. Man, they're cemented together, so you can't operate the levers. But one side would be the left side of the track, where this would be lowered down, and then of course the right side of the track for this right lever right here. This would be the right side of the track. This would be left side of the track. And what these did was these are, it's basically like green means go, red means stop, for these two switches on each side of the track. And of course, those right there in the distance, those lights are like traffic lights for trains. So these traffic lights that you see are red right now, which means no trains are coming or going. And you can see here that the lights are red. I know you kind of can't see them now, but they are red. And then you have one of these items. This is also a track. This is a track switcher. So this switcher there's a giant lizard. But this would change the direction of the train. And as the track were to go this way, see it pointing this way, that means stop. But if you're going this way, go. But if I were to, you can't pull up the lever, but if this lever pull this lever up, switch it to clockwise, which means come this way, then you may proceed in the opposite direction. All right, so we're in the town. The town of Plant City was incorporated on January 10th of 1885. Area 1 square mile with the center 3 blocks west of this point. The town plats covered land originally owned by pioneer John G. Thomas. 55 acres platted for Judge Henry L. Mitchell, and 65 acres platted for Simon Peter Thomas, son of the pioneer. Mitchell became the 16th governor of Florida. Thomas became the Plant City alderman. So, the pioneer was John G. Thomas, and Simon Peter Thomas was the son of John G. Thomas, who purchased the land of 65 acres in Plant City. Now, as we go over here, you can see right here, these are actual train wheels. Real train wheels, steel, and very, very heavy. But it's made into a bench. So it's made into kind of a park bench, which is fitting for Plant City because it is known for its railroads. It was a highly railroad town. The only thing is, the railroads kind of died off with a little bit, not as much as it was back in the 1800s. See, the railroads ruled Florida and ruled the United States, the country. But now, wow, this turns. So it does turn. This would be the handbrake for the back of the train. And a lot of the trains I'm on now is called a caboose. Caboose was always at the back end of the train. The only bad part is we can't go into the caboose right now. But you see, that's kind of what the caboose looked like. It was just like a small room where the conductor or the fireman was, where they worked on the back of the train to see if there was any danger on the tracks, any alert, like any problems with the tracks or with the engine, and he would alert the engineer at the front of the train if there was any problems or issues that would come about on the tracks. And so with that, we'll go to the other side and go around to the front of the train, or to the front of the caboose. But first, we're going to look at this and see the switch stand. This is a switch stand. Are located where rail tracks diverge, which means split. The position of the red and green blades indicate which track the train will proceed on. This type of stand is normally used for secondary rail tracks. So for secondary rail tracks, this is where the train would switch over to another track, to track 1 or track 2. If the train is on track 1, they would flip this switch right here with this lever and proceed it on to track 2. Switch it over to track 2 so another train could pass. Now let's move on to front of the caboose. Really, there is no front or back of a caboose, but you can kind of see how this would lay out in a switch. I imagine if the museum was open today, this would probably be open too. But always look inside. This is the kind of the front of the caboose, where the caboose would be hooked up to the main to the train. You can see the air hoses. It's where the air hoses are, where it would, in case you needed to apply the brake, where this would be. This would also you would have the and it would switch over, and it would tie on to the air hoses would apply pressure. Pressure would be into the wheels, and it would clamp down, so the train could slow down, at least the back part of the train. Any other, you'd have to do it manually by car, by each car that would go throughout, that would actually be able to stop the train. Mostly trains now be able to stop it by they would allow it to stop pretty easily, but it does take almost 3 miles for a full freight train to come to a complete stop. It would start slowing down, but it would still take about 3 miles for a fully loaded freight train to come to a complete stop, no matter where it's going. And so with that, it kind of needs some help. That's why they always have what's called a dynamic brake, and handbrake, and emergency brake. So they have basically 3 brakes that would brake, that they could use in case something were to happen. Now, if it's slowing down, you would use probably the dynamic brake at a 1 or 2, what's called notches, 1 or 2 notches. And then, but if it's like an emergency, like if an animal is on the track, something the track is like not run down, but it's if there's like a broken piece of the track or an emergency, you would use the emergency brake, and that would shut the entire train down. So the emergency brake, dynamic brake, locomotive brake. So the 3 brakes, there are 3 type of brakes that are used on an engine pulling the train. So as you can see behind me, this is a small engine. So actually, I want to go to the front of it so I can show you guys. There we go. So right here. There we go. So this would be the engine that is used. This is actually a switcher. It's called a switcher engine. Now this would be used in like a big rail yard where they would switch the train cars to different tracks to where they need to go throughout all over the country. No matter from California to Key West, Florida, from New York to Chicago to Houston, Texas, all over the country. That's where this switcher comes into play, as it switches out from different tracks and puts different rail cars into where the trains need to go. That's what this one is. There we go. And so using that as a using that is a lot easier and more efficient and reliable than doing it by hand, which they used to back in the early days of the railroad. And now they just use this thing. And then, but now it's back to like control towers where they can do it easily by basically a machine where they use the different tracks and different levels of track and numbers, and be like, oh, okay, say car number whatever goes to track number 2, and so it would find the number 2 and it would switch the train car onto that track. Alright, so we have made it, and I'm sure all of you guys have seen one of these before, and it's actually right there. Railroad crossing signs where the lights would flash, bells would ring. This is just a standard crossing that would be used on not as not as used as much tracks for trains, but since these have the lights, the bells, the gates, the whole 9 yards. These are used more popular rail travel. Means trains come through here a lot, and when they're used by those type of railroad crossing gates or railroad crossings. But definitely, if you see one of these or one of those, if the lights are blinking, bells are ringing, stop. Period. Cannot outrun a train. Alright, so you can kind of see where the lights, you can see it between the trees there, they are red. The lights on that stand beside the tracks for both tracks are lit up red. So I'm wondering if that, I believe, that means of course there's not any trains coming right now. And to also approach slowly. Well, that'd be yellow. But of course green means go. It would also approach real slowly, just in case a train does come by. And of course, W and X, I guess those are the names of the tracks, which would be, W would be on the left, and X would be on the right. And so, this is kind of where this would lay out. Of course, you can see over the bushes here that both tracks, you can see both tracks. There's one track that literally sits right. There is only one track. Okay. There's only one track. I guess it merges back that way. It merges into a single track instead of a double. So this right here used to be the old train depot that sat along the other set of tracks. Right now it's just like a gazebo where you have, cornhole and hopscotch, where you toss a rock and whenever the rock lands on, you hop to that spot, pick it up, and then turn around, come back to one. And for those of you that are in that like theater, Broadway, this is the State Theater of Plant City, and historic Plant City. The big tower clock. This was a theater, but now it's been converted into a museum. And let's see, kind of got that Hollywood, New York style to it. So you can see the doors are, of course it's locked right now. But we can look inside. It may be locked permanently. You can kind of look inside and see some of the things. I see an old jukebox there. You got down on and there. Ooh, I see Henry B. Plant photo of him down there on that table. You can see some of the antiques in here. Gone to feed the monkey. Back in 30 minutes. Old lamps. You got an old toy truck. There you got some postcards. You have not a live, but a turkey, stuffed turkey, and some other type of bird back there. Old style rotary dial phone. You also got a statue of some sort of queen, god, something. Let's see. State Theater Antiques. Poster. Back in the back you can see real close. That's where the doors to the theater would open. And back in the 30s, 1930s, it was a lively place. The State Theater of Plant City. You can see some toys here This one looks like you just roll it around on the floor. And this one looks like kids could drive it. Drive the train. Where you sit on top of the... This would be like for like a 1-year-old, 2-year-old kid who would sit on top of the engine here and hold on to those bars and then kick with their feet. Pedal cars, kind of. A pedal car. I remember some of those pedal cars. Of course, they weren't as popular. They kind of died off when I was born, but in the late 1990s, early 2000s, they were still around. Pedal cars were still around by that time, but then they kind of died off in the 2000s, and kind of just made it downgrade and not as popular now. But let's keep walking. We're gonna walk on toward down this way. We're gonna pass my car and walk on down. This is Main Street, passing Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard, and we come in here. This is the gallery. Like I said, I saw some of these chairs. The Lightning chair, Magic, the Gators. You got the Marlins, the old Marlins logo in Miami. There's the Bucks and the Dolphins. We even got the Rowdies, Tampa Bay Rowdies soccer team in there. And it's a Spirit Art Gallery. Let's keep moving. Alright, so I have the Oreo mousse. Basically like the cookies and cream yogurt. Pretty much, it's got the cream cheese with the Oreo, a giant Oreo on top of this on top. So let's go ahead and try this out. I know I'm gonna like it because it is my favorite. One of my favorite desserts is cookies and cream bars. And so, I like anything that's like Oreo based. Yeah, this looks really good. I'm not it's like a cookies and cream bar. And of course, I got me a water because it's hot. Let's enjoy this. And then continue on our trek around Plant City. Historic. Alright, so marching onward through the town of Plant City, and more or less just walk right down to the gift shop here. It is open 10 to 4 right here, called Mercantile. They also have an Instagram and Facebook page. Railfest scavenger. Oh, that was part of Railfest that they had here in Plant City. It's already passed. So, we're about to actually exit the main town right here. And this is actually where the tracks, which you can see the old track right here. The old rail track. Sometimes more of a siding. And so you have of course, the railroad crossing there. This is the main line and there's where it merges into the main line. The siding. This is the siding. And then it merges to the main line. Alright, so we have made it to the end of the line for downtown. So we're gonna go back trace our steps, but I wanted to come out here because there is this rail sign, railroad crossing, that does not have, it has the bells and the lights, but does not have the gate like the one down there does, which means this is, again, this is a siding, a side track that sometimes trains just get, where they get off, well, not get off, but they, pull off to let the other trains from the main line keep going, because passenger trains always have the right of way for train travel. Always. Freight trains would have to stop and let passenger trains go forward, go ahead. We're basically walking right by the tracks right now. This is the main line, one of the main lines. But since all the lights on the signals are red, which means no trains are running at this time. So this right here, this is just a public parking lot, but interestingly enough, that this is called the South Depot, which means right here in this yard, in this lot, or it might be in the actual parking lot where the public parking is, there was an old railroad depot, back in the 1900s that served as a train station, where trains were coming out in and out of Plant City from the South Depot. Okay, so I've basically found my happy place with all about trains. They have a variety of VHS tapes. Now, VHS was the video, well, it was a video system, which were, or set. So you got the America's Historic Steam Railroads, California Western Railroad. You also have one from the Durango and Silverton. But these, you can see here, these are the New Hampshire Steam Railroads. You got the Strasburg Railroad up in Pennsylvania. And you got the Cumbraes and Chiltec, Roaring Camp and Big Trees. You have this one, which is actually the Durango and Silverton. It's got that one on there at the bottom here, and you can see the perilous passes and nail-biting switchbacks await you across the Colorado Rockies aboard a classic McDowell locomotive. And you've got the California Western. You've got blasting through snowbanks, clinging to mountainsides, squeezing through the gorges, travel aboard of vintage steam and diesel trains that still operate today through some of America's most spectacular natural scenery. Experience stunning beauty and scenic grandeur that remains hidden to all those who have been aboard these trains. The Shenandoah, ride in the cab. Also do a Continental Divide, the Canadian Rockies, and the Great Mississippi. The SOO line, Burlington, Northern, and Dakota are just a few of the lines storming their way through the frozen beauty of the upper Mississippi River Valley. So on this video, it'd be 6 hours of train riding. That sounds fantastic. But you also have the Transcontinental Railroad. This one's still taped in its original shape. 125th anniversary of Adam West. He narrates about the Transcontinental This is the one that's in the history. Okay, so with the Transcontinental Railroad, this one connected Oklahoma and what was the state beside? It was in the west. It was in the west because it connected between New York all the way. I think it was Oklahoma, and from California, Oklahoma. So this, let me read this. The Golden Spike is a film of leaving feel good about America. It is a tradition that sets Americans apart from any other people on Earth. Remarkable photographs of Andrew Russell, others who will be relive an accomplishment historians call one of the most important in American history, the building of the first Continental Railroad. Vivid detail, you'll see how this remarkable feat changed the nation forever. Twin rails of steel. Utah. That's where it was. It was in Utah. That's where the Golden Spike was driven into the railroad to make the first transcontinental railroad that connected between California all the way to New York City. And that was the first of its kind in all of American history. All right, so I'm going to definitely have to come back to this because I really want to explore it some more. The mercantile, and Dave, I just met in there. He's also a train enthusiast like myself, and we just got to talking about telling him that my uncle used to work on the railroad and back in Arkansas, and he took me into the rail yard and he let me up into one of the locomotives and everything else. So ever since then, I've been hooked on trains and just been fascinated with them. But I have enjoyed my time here in Plant City. There's still one more place I want to go check out here in Plant City. I'm going to see if I can find it. And then we will begin making our way home. And but I just wanted to come out, make a short video about Plant City, and mostly it's about the railroads of Plant City is what it really is, because historically Plant City is known for their railroads and trains. Okay, so found the historic site marker straight ahead. Makes me very intrigued and excited to see what historical site is here in Plant City. We have to press on. Alright, so we have made it to the historical site. This is the Plant City High School. Old high school building. Archive Center. Doors for Remembrance. Parking and Archive Center. Dive into the archives. In 1937 was when it was established here, Plant City High School. Of course, it's closed, but this is Plant City High School Community Center in memory of the class of 1933. It is listed on the National Register of Historical Places. This is a historical site. Plant City High School. We're going to go around to the back because that's where the archives are, but I bet it's closed. It is Sunday. I know a lot of the local library, and it is a government agency, and simply it's affiliated with the government of Florida, and so it's most likely closed today. But we will see. We'll go around to the back and check it out. Alright, so thank you all for joining me here in historic Plant City, the railroad capital of Florida. The Plant City sits almost right in the middle of the state. Not quite. just a little bit further south. Probably about Clewiston is the middle of the state of Florida. But Plant City is pretty close. We are, like I said, it's a great town. So far, a lot of people are nice around here. And a lot of antique shops and historical sites, from the Railroad Museum back behind me to the old Plant City High School. It's got a lot of nostalgia and throwback to the 1900s, early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. And also the State Theater just across the way over there. There it is. And, there it is. I wasn't all the way over. There we go. But thank you all for joining me here in Plant City. I am going to be coming back, probably in the next week or two. Definitely either on a Saturday or the day we have off is on that Wednesday, which is the 19th, 18th or 19th. I forget what day it is. But it's, I'm off work. It's a holiday. And so I may be back to Plant City either that day or on a Saturday. I'll come down and explore the antique shops, do another video, and just explore whereabouts of historic downtown. Plus, be able to go to the Railroad Museum too. I haven't been there in 2 years. I went there the first year I moved to Florida, and then the year after. Like I said, I haven't been there in 2 years. But more or less, it's a great town, great people. Most of all, very historical. So, thank you all for watching, and we will see you all on the next Spin Venture.